My next guest was a staple of CES for pretty much his entire pro career. Last time out, he debuted at CombatFC 4, where he beat Hayar Jr. for the inaugural CombatFC lightweight title. He now returns to the promotion, going for the featherweight title against Don Shainis. He is Nasty Nate Ghareeb. How's it going today, Nate?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Can't complain. It took me a little while to get that whole sentence out, but it worked.
Yeah, it sounds great.
So you're no longer up here, up north, freezing your ass off with the cold and snow. You're down in sunny ass Florida.
Yeah.
I'm out sliding on the streets in the snow. How's it been since you relocated and have gone full time down to ATT?
It's been awesome, man. It took a little time to adjust. The first the first 6 months I was down here. I was living with my manager, and my wife was back home, and all my family and friends were back home. So I mean, it definitely took some time to adjust. But in the last 6 months, we moved and got our own apartment, and everything's situated, and things have been awesome. I mean, as far as training goes, it's training with the best in the world. So, I mean, every day is awesome. I get to live my dream every single day and train with the best in the world and people that I have looked up to for, almost 10 years. And, I'm happy here, man. I do really like it. And my wife's happy here. So we're really enjoying it.
Awesome. Yeah. Cause I mean, there's great gyms everywhere, but there's incredible gyms in Florida. It's probably common sense, but like outside of moving up in the gym level, anything else that really sold you on leaving up north to go down to Florida?
I think, the biggest thing was I had trained all over the place, and I had trained with the best guys around, and it got to the point where I was the best guy in the gym almost everywhere I went, except for, a few different places where they were competitive, but I had to drive 2 hours or an hour to get to those places. The biggest sell for me was I want to continue to improve, and I want to continue to get better. And the coach I was working with before was phenomenal. And, I'd learned a lot from him, but he ended up moving to Florida, Northern Florida. And so I kind of had no choice at that point, because it was you could continue to stay. And, I was working part-time, full-time, part-time, where it was 6 months of the year I was working, 6 months I had off, and I would just train. But now it's every day I'm training full-time. And so I think it was really just having the ability to train full-time, but also train with people that were better than me, and especially in various areas, training with the best people in the world where these people are exactly where I want to be, or working their way to where I want to be. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? I feel when you're home in Massachusetts, where I'm from, I come from a small town. I come from what I call the bubble, right? And it's things are different outside of that bubble, because everything's comfortable, everything's safe. Everything, everybody. And so having to leave and go out on your own, or go, you and your significant other, my significant other, we went out and, we wanted to make a change and, really push for this dream. And so it just got to a point where I had no choice, burn the boats, and that's what we did. And now I'm here, and very, very happy to be here. And I'm very, very lucky to be here. So I don't know if that answers your question. Sorry. I just kind of,
it was a really open-ended question, because honestly, right now, if you offer me to go anywhere that was not snow outside on the road, I'm in. I'm going right now.
Well, that was another big thing too, right? The winters are brutal, man. And so to drive 2 hours or to drive an hour, it's especially, you get snowstorms, and, the weather changes consistently. My wife's from a Caribbean island. So for her, it was she came up here for college, but she was she's been dying to get out of the cold. So it's definitely where she needs to be. She acclimated a little bit, but I knew she was hating it here. So it's a good location now. It's pretty similar.
Awesome. So last time out, like I said, you did come in, you won the inaugural lightweight title.
Mm-hmm.
I just rewatched that fight. I just want to know from your angle, so on the camera angle, I can understand where the opponent questioned the stoppage.
Yeah.
It's different when you're Brian Miner. It's different when you're Nate Ghareeb. What did you see that was no, that was a finish. That was not a no questions asked situation.
I mean, I mean, like I could have argued for him as well that, they probably could, might not have stopped it, like it was kind of weird, like, but I think it was like at that point you're just playing with your food. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I feel like I had this guy, and for 4 rounds, it's like you didn't offer me anything. I think he hit me with one right hand that like made me take a step back for like 5 seconds of the fight. But like the whole time you're like backing up, like I completely shut him down. And I felt like I was dropping him. I dropped him with the body shot. I dropped him a few times and he kept trying to pull guard. He was like defending himself to an extent, but he was really just like taking unnecessary damage. I think, like, because like when people think damage, they always think like, oh, like this guy's getting punched in the face, but it's like when you're getting fucking kicked in the leg a ton, you're getting hit in the body, like eventually, like you're gonna open up to the point where like you can't move, and this dude's gonna hit you with something even worse. So, like from my perspective, it was like I just do my job. I just go in there and do what I have to do until the ref says stop. So for me, like I just think it was just accumulation of damage. I mean, I haven't this is the one fight I didn't go back and count how many kicks that I had, but I mean over 30 kicks to the legs at least, and I mean a lot of vicious shots to the body, like that adds up. So I mean he wasn't really putting up a fight. I don't think anybody can argue that. And I think he was just trying to like bide his time. So I don't know, man. It's like it's not like the highlight reel knockout. It's not like a lot of my
Mhm.
other finishes I've had where it's just like I've broken you and you are, you have no choice. Like you've just given up. This guy was like kind of there, but he was all chewed up. You know what I mean? His legs, his body, his fucking arms, like everything. So
Yeah, I mean, and when you go back and watch it, if you ever go back and watch it, like going into that fourth round, like I think he complained about the water on the ground like 8 times,
yeah.
which you were on the same part of the mat. You didn't have any issue.
Well, I backed
So that,
into his corner, so it was all in his
yeah,
corner. You know what I mean? I think that was just like some old little trick that he was doing, get him a little more time because he was tired. You get ice
and
on the mat and it starts slippery, and hopefully, oh, maybe they'll like stop it, bring someone in, wipe it down, give you a little rest. But it's like, if you noticed, I think it was like in the second round, he tried to talk about it too, and it was like, fuck that, man. Like I'm in the same surface. Like I've backed you to your corner, and we've spent most of the fight here. Like I don't care that there's water on the floor. Like I'm just gonna keep hitting you until the ref says stop, and the ref didn't even say stop. So he was just like, keep going. Like I don't care, keep fighting. That guy I think that guy was just looking for like he had those little tricks that he was using.
yeah, it's the ice water thing on the ground is a Brazilian tactic.
Yeah.
I'll
I
say
didn't
it so you
just
don't
say it
have
because
to.
I didn't want to say it because of a lot of like a few Brazilian coaches, but
It,
yeah,
it,
there's a few Brazilian tricks I think out there that
yeah,
have been notorious for over the years. So
and that's definitely number one and number two probably. But this time through, you are coming back on the February 9th, coming back. Let me batch it one more time to the cold ass Northeast.
yeah.
But you're coming at featherweight this time, going
Mm.
against Don Shainis. Don's a 19 fight vet. He's been in Bellator. You've been in Bellator as well. He's been in UFC. Um, where do you see this one going? And do you think the drop to a second title is what's going to ultimately get you that call somewhere?
I'd like to think so. I feel like to beat a UFC vet holds a lot of merit. Yeah, the last 6 months has been kind of like up and down, and I don't know, like maybe we'll get a short notice fight, and we thought maybe contender series, so it's kind of like, you know, all I can do and all I know is that I can just show up and fight and just keep beating these guys. The last few opponents I had were pretty tough guys. None of the last two hadn't been finished before, and I went in and finished them. Thought that would do the trick. I think holding the featherweight belt where is my weight class. I've been fighting at 55 and I've won these belts at 55, but I'm not a 55er. If you see me like up against like sized up against a real 55er, not I'm not a 55er.
Mhm.
But I think beating Don Shainis is like holds a lot of merit. So like with this fight too, like it's something that's been kind of like in the making for a couple of years now. He's a guy that I've wanted to fight, when he was on his way up to the UFC. And I wanted to fight him because of his record was good. You know, he had held a couple titles. And I think that holds a lot of value. You know, that's a guy that was on his way to the UFC. Now he's outside the UFC. He's back on the regional scene. And I think stylistically, even before, you know, he got to the UFC, I thought he was a great matchup for me. I still think he's a great matchup for me. Even better now. I mean, like, his bread and butter is ground and pound, you know, take you down, grind you out on the fence. It's like, dude, where have I been training for the last year? And with who? You know, like, this is the best gym in the world. And then not only the best gym in the world, but these are some of the best grapplers in the world. Like, I'm not worried about you, dude. Like, I'm not overlooking you. I'm not saying, oh, like, Don sucks or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. Like, Don is good. Don is gritty. He's tough. He's been there. He's fought some of the best guys, and he's going to bring a fight. He always does. Like, I don't expect him to show up and just like lie down dead. Like, I want this fight because he's very tough, durable, gritty, and he's got the experience. Like, he's going to bring a fight. That's what I want. And I'm looking to fight. Like, I'm not looking for easy wins. I want to fight. That's why I signed to do this. Like, I signed up to challenge myself. I didn't sign up to fight bums and like parade around like I'm a fucking big bad man and tell my friends I'm a big bad man, which is something that happens in New England all the time. Like, these guys crush cans and they think they're fucking badasses. And it's like, I know we everybody's fucking fought some guy they probably shouldn't have. Like, I've done it. Other people have done it. Like, one or two, right? Your first couple fights. But when you're fucking 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, or, you know, and you're fighting fucking guys who fucking driving for Uber, it's like, dude, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, you're not a real fighter. You're a fucking faker. You know what I mean? Like, Jimmy B used to say Facebook fighters, right? Guys who wanted to look like big bad men on their fucking Facebook profile or whatever. But like, I didn't, when I got into this, I just wanted to do this because I wanted to fight and I wanted to prove that I was the best, not because I wanted to get in here and like act like I was the best. So Don Shainis is the perfect opponent. And that's what I mean by that, is like, he has all the accolades and all the things that I need to jumpstart into the next level. Like, he's been there. I need to fight a guy like this. You know, I need a guy who's been experienced in 5 rounds. I need a guy who's been a regional champion. I need a guy who's not going to just fucking give up on me. You know, like, I like the last guy, like, right. Like, he on paper is good. You know what I mean? His real record is like 9-4 or was 9-4. And he had like 48 kickboxing fights that he won majority of. And he's like a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, that's a tough fucking guy. Never been finished before. He'd fought in Bellator as well. Like, and that's what we wanted him to do. You know, I don't anticipate Don to do the same thing, just back up and fucking run away and like fucking pull guard. Like, he's going to try and fucking hurt me. Like, that's what I want him to do. You know, I want you to try to fuck me up. I want you to try to hurt me so that I can find out if I got what it takes, you know? So, yeah, I think Don's a great opponent for me. And I look forward to like showcasing other skills I haven't been able to against other guys because maybe they didn't give me the opportunity to. So,
awesome. I actually appreciate you like not shitting on the opponent. That's one thing I think the regional level guys tend to do a lot. I mean, even in the UFC, they kind of do it too. Saying, you know, like the opponent they have is like the worst they've ever fought, and this, that, and the other. Well, then why'd you sign the paper? Because, I mean, let's just go back to Kobe versus Leon. Talked all this shit, did not perform at all. It makes that loss look even worse. And you do it on the regional level, like you're putting your career at risk at that point if you're gonna say your opponent sucks and then you lose.
Right. 100%. And like, that's, again, like, I'm not, the way I see this whole thing, right, is like, I don't want to be like Conor McGregor or like follow in the footsteps of him. And like, I don't see my opponents as like, it is business to me. Like, I do see it as a business, and like, I understand selling fights, but like, when I talk about my opponents, like, I'm going to tell you what I see from them through film. You know, I don't care about their character. I don't care if they're some wacky fucking dude and they're playing a fucking character. I don't care if they're a fucking asshole. They're trying to come at you, talk all this shit, whatever. Like, I don't care about that stuff. It doesn't fucking faze me, you know? I just see my opponent for what they are. Like, they're a series of targets. They're like a faceless man, and I just have to hit my series of targets. Like, if you want to do that stuff and you want to build it up and you want to badmouth the other guy, like, go for it. Like, I don't give a fuck. But I see Don for what he really is. I don't see him as like some fucking Joe Schmo. Like, the guy clearly fucking trains. He's clearly won. You know, he said he's going on this will be his 20th fight. 20th professional fight, and he had 6 amateur fights. You know what I mean? The guy's not a fucking slouch, and he's not fucking like we always call him like Uber drivers or cab drivers, like he's not just a dude showing up for a paycheck. Like he wants to be in the UFC again. He wants to fight, and he does. He shows up and he fights, and I think that's the thing is like people might see it's like some of the things I've said, it's like you're shit talking or whatever about him, or maybe he got a little butthurt about certain things I've said. Like, listen, bro, like I'm saying what I fucking see. You know what I mean? Like I'm just telling you the facts. If you don't like it, you know what I mean? Like prove me fucking wrong. You know what I mean? Like show up and do the work. And I know he's doing the work. And guess what? I'm fucking doing the work. And like we're gonna show up and we're gonna fight. Like we're the 2 best guys in New England right now. And then like Reggie Carvalho's out there too. Like he's fucking good. He just beat Don. But this is a fight I think a lot of people like everyone in New England wants to see. Like these are like 2 guys who've competed for titles, 2 guys that have fought tough guys, a guy that's been in the UFC, a prospect on his way to the UFC, and 2 guys that are going to show up and fight. You know what I mean? Like we're going to fight. There's no question about it. We're going to show up and we're going to do our fucking jobs. And I never want to overlook anybody. You know what I mean? I'm not going to overlook this guy by any means. Like he's like, I don't think I'm going to walk in there and just fucking walk through anybody. Like I see you for what you are, but I also realize that you're a man and all men can die. And so I just got to hit my series of targets before you hit mine. And I truly believe that I can do that. So.
And you did just touch on where I was going to go next, where, Don is coming off a loss. And if he was hungry going into that fight, he has to be even hungrier this time. I mean, that fight, 36 seconds, 46 seconds. Like it was pretty much a submission right out of the after the first bell. Got put in a terrible position, and now he has to prove that he is still the Don Shainis that everyone knew before the UFC stint going into that rebound fight. And and I think you kind of laid it out perfectly too. Like his resume explains why this is a fight. Not only does New England won, but why everyone else should care.
Right.
I know CombatFC is kind of still growing. This is their 6th event. So they're not like a household name yet, like an LFA or a Cage Fury or even Fury FC at this point.
Right.
But obviously your goal, you even said it at the last one, is to go up. And then speaking of up, then is that UFC or bust, or is like $1 million tournament in PFL? Like, is that intriguing to you? What are your next level goals?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm 30 now, and my goal is always to get to the UFC. I liked fighting for Bellator when I did because like the pay was pretty good. I mean, I was my 3rd pro fight and I made like decent money, but I knew like that I just want to fight the best guys. I want people to see my skill. Like I don't want to be fighting, like, yeah, your stuff's on UFC Fight Pass or whatever, but like, dude, like I'm want to show my skill. I want people to see how good I am. Like, it doesn't matter if you're fucking beating up guys that, no one sees it. Like, I want to get paid. So like, yeah, I mean, I've definitely considered the PFL tournament. Like if the Challenger Series had came around and an opportunity came up, like I would take it because like, I'm not going to wait around for the UFC. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's like what everybody's dream is, but like, I also want to make money. Like I see like the reality of the situation. It's like, I have put a lot of time into this and I've, put my heart and soul into it. And I've made a lot of sacrifices, and I know a lot of us do. Right. But at the end of the day, like I want to provide for me and my wife. I want to make money so that like we can have the things that we need and then have the things that we want. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to live, paycheck to paycheck or wonder where my next paycheck is going to come from. Like I want to be able to provide and have a sustainable living so that I can train full time and not be concerned about like even going to the fucking doctors and fucking having to pay, insurance won't cover this, and this. All right, well, here's fucking, $160 or, a $300 fucking bill. It's like, dude, like, I want to be able to like take care of those things and not be fucking freaking out about where's the next paycheck coming from for, or whatever, like, so like if the PFL opportunity came up, like I know then they ended up buying Bellator. So it like kind of makes it weird, right? Cause you're like, is Bellator staying Bellator? Is PFL staying PFL? What are they doing with the guys? Like, who are they keeping? Who are they throwing away? Like, I don't know. Are they even going to start signing prospects now? Like what is their goal? Like, we don't know. It's too soon to tell with like everything that's been going on. So, I mean, honestly, at this point, if you want to pay me, I'll fucking be there. You know, you tell me when, you tell me where, don't care what country, don't care what time, don't care when. But if there's good money involved, I'm your guy, because I just want to fight and I want to make money and I want to fight the best. So
you kind of touched on that too, like, you know, the PFL, what is going on over there. Challenger Series is not around this year, so that's, like, you know, that's kind of painful because that was like the alternate to Contender Series,
right.
And Contender Series, who are you managed by?
I'm managed by Dominance.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, if you were to look at Contender Series, it tends to be a lot of Iridium guys.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of has their little shoe in certain places, but Dominance has their legs too. They know how to get you in when you need to. But that was the thing there. Like, Challenger Series was kind of the more open market because they were more willing, especially due to Dominance ties to PFL, for example, or World Series of Fighting and so on. But outside of that, you know, I'm going to pass the mic to you. Kind of your sponsors, you know, any shout outs you want to give. Mike's all yours, and we'll wrap it up afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to give a huge shout out to my wife. She does everything. She helps me out. She's always in my corner, and she's not physically. I know she wants to be, but she's you know, she really is my rock, and she really has made this journey that much more enjoyable. My parents, they're always there, and they're always have been supporting me throughout this entire thing since day one. And my sponsors, the Smithsonian Chowder House, HKA, Chemi Graphics, and the Leadfoot Brewery, and definitely thank you to ATT, always keeping me ready. Coach Tiago, Steve Mako, Mike Brown, Gabriel Oliveira, like they have been there and they've been helping me get better, and all my teammates at ATT. You know, I'm really super grateful. It has really made this transition to Florida fucking awesome, and I look forward to showing them what we've been working on.
Also, February 9th, they are back on UFC Fight Pass. No Fight TV this time.
Yep.
I think you missed that. You missed that little, I think,
yeah, took a little break.
Event. And they do a great show. I mean, like I said, they are newer. I think Joe's connections kind of helps a little bit to speed a little thing up, but
yeah,
they do a great show, and you know, it's definitely a night that a lot of eyes are going to be on because I think every Fight Pass promotion is running a show that night.
Yeah.
So if this is I think this is pretty much the Contender Series night. This is who's going to get picked out for there, and you know, obviously short notice. So I look forward to seeing it. I'll be catching the replay. Like, I'll be in person at another event myself, but you'll be my drive back home from Philly that night, because I'm really curious about this one because you have a very hungry opponent on the other side, which is nice. And hopefully he doesn't do the same thing like the last opponent did. But yeah, I want to thank you for your time, and we'll get this up, and you know, best of skill when the fight comes around.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I really appreciate your time.